Well, I can't believe we made it this far. My channel just hit the 10,000 subscriber mark! I made it to 5,000 subscribers on this website around 3 years ago, and even long before that I was on Blip TV, so I wonder how things would have been if I had done YouTube first. Or at least done it at the same time, but still. There's been a lot going on, including personal projects, which has kept me from getting a lot of these older videos back up. I am going to find time to put them on Daily Motion at least, since it seems to allow me to upload videos again. I don't know. We'll see. Let's not worry about it now, because I have some movies to review, including one that I've been meaning to cover ever since Salty's camping adventure. That's right, it's the Christian musical sensation, High Tops.
Need to be in the band, I gotta be in the band, mister. I wanna be in the band, I need to be in the band, I gotta be in the band.
Like with the Kids Praise videos, this was written, directed, and produced by Ernie Rottino and Debbie Kerner. This came about at the same time as Kids Praise in 1985, and it was successful enough to go on a national tour. The movie and songs would be distributed by Maranatha Music and Word Inc. And that's really it. There's only one notable actor in this, Crystal Lewis, who was apparently in one other Christian kids show, Colby's Clubhouse. No, I'm not doing that one. Besides, we have an hour 40 of knockoff Grease to sit through. So, let's put on those high tops while we watch High Tops. We start with a still frame of two cool-looking angels and a Bible verse from, I believe, Ephesians 6:12, which is related to the overall theme of the movie. But what role will these two guardians play?
Ladies and gentlemen, we now present High Tops.
Oh, they were guarding the musical from us? Okay, well let's see what happens.
Where are you going? To the concert, aren't you?
Oh no, I forgot!
Well, you better hurry, you gotta get a date.
No problem, with looks like these.
Was that even English?
What am I going to wear to the concert? I have nothing to wear to the concert, and this looks disgusting. Heather, can I borrow your sweater to wear to the concert?
Get serious. The last time you borrowed it, you had it for 3 months.
Well, at least I gave it back, and I even washed it.
I know.
Fashion joke, huh? Why does this kid have a landline phone in his pants? I'm kind of siding with White Urkel here. I just want to know what the hell is going on.
What group is playing tonight?
High Tops!
Oh, so it's not just a shoe brand, it's an actual band in this universe. You know it's the 80s when the clothing feels flashy and loose. I also have to wonder if this band is school-funded, since the performers are the same age as the students. And some of them look too old. I did say this was a Grease knockoff. After all, it's a high school musical played by a much older cast. Sorry, I should at least comment on the song they're singing.
He's the father of lights, who lights up the night, and all good things given come from him.
Honestly, I don't find it bad. It's just not something I'd expect to come from high schoolers. Assuming this is a public school and not just a Christian school, I find it weird how every student would be into this one band, even the less than stellar teens. Anyway, here's the devil.
Hope you don't mind my interrupting here. Oh, the name's Louie.
That's supposed to be funny? I mean, Satan's new name is weird, but it's not enough for a laugh. Still, it's funny that he dresses like Elvis. After all, what was it they'd say about him? That he plays the devil's music? Why is he here anyway?
See what's going on here? This group, they wear these crummy high-top shoes. They think it means something, like going for God's best for their lives. Well, pardon me.
I mean, as long as they're not hurting anyone or inciting hate towards marginalized groups, I don't care what they wear. He's eventually told by the two angel guards to leave, but Louis says he'll be back. Time then unfreezes to let the band leader begin another number, the fight song.
I'm gonna lift up my sword and shield. I'm gonna stand up and sing praise behind my king until all of my enemies yield.
Bring back the last singer. She was better. The leader talks about why the group is called High Tops, and it comes from wanting to be their best in front of God. He then announces tryouts for the band, and one of the hopefuls is this kid, Tony.
Their music was hot.
Their music was hot, but those shoes, they look like rejects from the Globetrotters.
Oh, and what do you know about fashion?
I know.
Yeah?
Nothing about clothes.
At least we're getting names. So far we have Tony, Pierre, Heather, Ginny, who must be the rebel character for this story.
I'll wave at me from the stage.
Get me a bag.
And then put it over your head.
Harsh. And of course, Norman J. Pitts.
And I'm a nerd by popular vote. Well, I'm a typical teenager.
Ha! Teenager, right. And I know this was before Family Matters, but he still feels like White Urkel to me. Though I suppose Norman resembles Eugene Felsnick from Grease, but that's being generous.
Well, for greater purposes, other than scaring them with dissected frogs in my biology class.
Anyway, he thinks that by getting the new high top shoes, he'll become popular. Coincidentally, everyone wants new shoes to get into the band, and I gotta say, even Grease tried to make their teen characters resemble their real-life counterparts, or as close to it as possible. Here, everyone is a blatant stereotype.
I'm gonna get some high tops for the auditions. What about you guys?
Hey, what a rad idea. Let's all get high tops for the audition.
I was just gonna say, a pair of those high tops would look great with this tie.
Hell, even the songs in Grease 1 and 2 were more entertaining than what we have here. I know that a stage performance limits what you can do, but I don't know. The songs are definitely not that great. I just prefer the energy and choreography better in those other movies, especially regarding different topics. Here, they're just excited over shoes. It's only been less than 20 minutes, and hardly anything's happened. Can we get to something remotely different? Oh, here we go. Up in heaven, we see the Golden Girls, and one male angel named Finley, talking about how humans go through different fads.
Oh, look, here is a definition. Fads, a passing fancy or fashion springing from bursts of creativity imposed upon groups, nurtured and fortified by peer pressure.
Peer pressure? What do you suppose that is?
You used to be people at some point before death. I think you ought to know what that is. Of course, you could ask some dead humans here about it, but instead they consult Gabriel, who is more than willing to explain what that is.
Peer pressure has a lot to do with the way humans feel about themselves. Being afraid of rejection, afraid of failure. Well, it also has to do with needing to feel loved and accepted. Peer pressure has to do with self-control, or rather how one is controlled by the crowd.
Well, I suppose that's a start. And yeah, that is what this story is about. It's just a matter of execution. So Gabriel plans to send these three down to Earth to help them experience peer pressure.
Well, yes, sir. Well, right away, sir. The Father is sending you on a fact-finding mission. A sort of angel boot camp.
Are we being drafted?
Well, you might look at it that way, Lil. Your mission, should you choose to accept.
Guys, you don't get to make the Mission Impossible reference. I don't think God would like that. But yeah, the three will be allowed to go down and even be allowed to intervene on certain problems if needed. They must be wary of human feelings and desires, and of course, Louis, who I guess can just enter heaven. and is going to try screwing them over. For now, the three get their human identities. Lily, played by Crystal Lewis, becomes Lily from the Valley. Grace just becomes Grace while being a nerd, and Finley becomes Twin Finn. Oh, fun. Anyway, as they descend to Earth, they sing the Thad song, which features Norman riding a bouncy ball, some cowboy riding a tricycle, women in culturally inappropriate clothing, and a Conehead? I didn't think these teens would be into Coneheads or SNL, but I suppose that's kind of the point, to show how people can get into popular things for fear of missing out. Otherwise, they'll look silly and be rejected. Speaking of silly...
Heather, at first, I wanted to get something really different. Something, sort of left field. But you know my dad. He'd have a conniption. So I got purple. Oh. Sequins.
I could be wrong, but I think Tony is coded to be gay. Just a hunch. He seems to have befriended Twin Finn, while Lily caught a cold. Yeah, and we all learned that each of these kids are going to hell for how they treat Norman.
Like my shoes? They are disgusting, just like you, and if you're thinking of auditioning, forget it. You're ugly. You have no talent. And you should stop using transmission fluid for a deodorant. He makes my skin crawl. And if you ask me, I think they should have a special school for people like that.
I'm supposed to care for her, right? Ginny claims to be rich, but her parents are always away, so she takes out her frustrations on the other students to feel better. This makes her a likely candidate for Louie to take advantage of. Maybe she can be convinced to copy Heather's answers for the next test.
I know, I'm not Miss Goody Two-Shoes, but cheating?
You actually have standards?
You're not cheating, you're borrowing.
Borrowing means giving back later. You can't give back test scores. But I will say, this song about cheating is pretty catchy.
It's got to be worldly wise. Just a little bit. You get back. Just a little bit. You get back now.
It does discuss the peer pressure that comes from parents and society who will push you to certain jobs or fads. And this is a two-part song, because there's a brief bit where the angels are exempt from taking the test, like Louis, though I guess he decided to stay anyway. How does that even work? Doesn't matter, because as soon as the teacher leaves... And even though Jeannie was cheating too, in front of the teacher, only Heather fails because...
Any talking results in an automatic F, Heather.
What kind of school is this? This causes Heather to hate Ginny now, but Lily tries to explain Jeannie's actions.
Of being rejected, she tries to, strike out and put other people down before they can hurt her. She's probably packed with fears, hurts, and insecurities that are really deep or something. And she's trying to put band-aids on them by being so nasty.
So it's more about trying to understand each other and why they don't behave like you do. That's fine, but how they handle the lesson doesn't inspire confidence. Well, we finally get something from Grace. She's feeling the pain of loneliness because everyone thinks she's a nerd. So no surprise, that makes her friends with Norman.
Isn't she gorgeous? I'm getting goosebumps.
It's funny because they're nerds, and nerds don't speak like real people or have the same anxieties as them. You know what? I don't think Ernie or Debbie knows what nerdy means, and they probably never spoke to actual teenagers.
About a month ago, my mom made me a 3-bean salad in a Tupperware dish. Well, I hated the way it tasted, so I just shoved it back in my locker. Twist it, it's still growing! It's gonna take over the whole school! Save me! Where's Superman when you need him? Help!
Sorry, he's busy in his own musical.
Don't they know the strongest man can cry
So it looks more and more likely that these two are meant to be gay, but this movie just passes them off as Italian. Just mark this up as another thing the Retinos don't know about. What's the point of this scene? Well, Tony wants to marry Heather after graduation, but then this comes up.
Twinfin, what do you think about sex? You know, before marriage. To tell the truth, Tony, I don't think about it.
Well, I don't know about you, but I would like to ask Tony something.
Where does the pollen go?
Finn explains how jerks can take advantage of girls, and that you should love a girl like you would God. Then we get another Louis bit where he claims that sex is his creation. And like, you know, it's far more complicated than that. Especially since this movie is fine with marital sex, and as long as the partners are in the right age and mind to consent, then sex it up. But no, they have to demonize it because of Louis. Finn and Lily review their experiences so far and how things are going well. They watch Tony proposing to Heather, which is meant to show someone who's getting swept up in the moment, before realizing they ought to slow down. Heather doesn't want to base her decisions on hormones, so this next song has her telling Tony to back off.
I love you, but you'll never win me this way. Slow down, 'cause I love you, but you'll never win me this way.
So far, this is the best song in the musical. The sounds and visual edits remind me of 80s music videos, which is appropriate for the time and is different from the rest of the songs. Plus, lyrically speaking, she does love him, but she just doesn't want to rush into something that she'd regret later.
Go take a cold shower.
Mom, what's a cold shower? Ask your father when you're older. Louis then pesters Grace for her relationship with Norman. I guess he's trying to scare them into believing that they won't go to heaven. But when he goes away, Grace then reveals to Norman that she is an angel all along. Norman tries coming to terms with this reveal, but he still feels like a worthless nobody. So it's up to Grace to remind him that he is special and loved even by God.
You've been lonely and rejected all the years you've been growing up. But God will never reject you. He'll always be your friend. He said that he would never leave you. Don't let somebody else, like Ginny, who's got her own set of problems, ruin your life. Well, you know what's wrong here, Norbert? You're letting somebody else's opinion of you become your opinion of yourself.
See, they are capable of some meaningful lectures. Even if it's all about God and the Bible, it's still reassuring to learn that someone will always value you for who you are. Plus, Grace encourages Norman to try out for the band since she believes he has the talent for him. Meanwhile, Ginny talks to Louis about her worries for the audition since she thinks she can't measure up to Heather. So Louis offers her drugs. Because if she doesn't get into the band, then what is there to live for? I suppose this is a way to say that teens can enter a doom spiral after facing a major rejection, and how they'll find unhealthy ways to cope with failure. Ginny won't do drugs, but she is then tempted to trick Heather into missing the audition. Good thing cell phones weren't around, except those Motorola bricks. Anyway, audition time. Everyone shows off their talents while pledging their love and service to God.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly.
My name is Travis.
Great! A bass! We need a bass.
But I'm a voice soprano. I got a cold.
Too bad they are all singing the same lyrics.
In the band, I need to be in the band. I gotta be in the band, mister.
I wanna be in the band. I need to be in the band.
I wanna be in the band. I need to be in the band. I gotta be in the band, mister.
Look, you all make a compelling argument, but we can only have one. So let's hear what Norman can do.
Nobody knows what it's like to be alone. Odd man out by myself on my own.
And all all he had to do was start being himself. He really is the White Urkel. His song is so inspiring that the other kids sing with him. Guess deep down, everyone there feels alone. But why be alone when they can be alone together? So yeah, he makes it into the band. But so did everyone else who applied. Norman isn't special after all. Later, Louie tries getting Ginny into drugs again, but Heather shows up to call her out for making her miss the audition. Ginny is then kicked out of the band, which causes her to OD herself later.
So here's to the me that never was.
Well, Norman shows up to see her ODing, and sure enough, she dies.
Ginny, somebody do something! Ginny! Oh, Ginny!
I don't feel any pulse!
Yeah, take that, Grease! You didn't have the nerve to do this plot thread! At the same time, the angels need to return to heaven. But they aren't leaving without resolving this tragedy. Louie is beaming about what he just did, but the sounds of teenagers crying for help, Louie mugging the camera, and Godlight leads to Ginny coming back to life.
Why did you help me?
Well, maybe because I see something in you that I see in myself.
What could that be?
Well, we're both afraid of being rejected. My defense mechanism is to withdraw to the computer lab where nobody will see me. And yours is, well, you strike out and try to hurt everybody before they can hurt you. And you don't have to do that.
And the lesson here is, see yourself as God would see you. But the ultimate lesson is, always give yourself to God. Sure, there's the matter of finding love from many people through compassion and empathy, but hey, why not swear by the Lord and go to church while you're at it? Oh, and don't forget your high tops! Those are the most important footwear you can ask for.
Run and run, look at you run, look at you run, look at you, look at you, look at you, look at you, look at you run, yo, high tops.
Man, this one was weird. On one hand, it's not a good musical, given how its stereotypes get in the way of discussing peer pressure, but on the other hand, it's the kind of bad musical that I can't help but find funny. I mean, there's definitely effort in the set designs, songs, and choreography. It's just that everything else is laughably bad. I can think of worse things out there when it comes to promoting a more closed-minded or hateful spin on the Christian faith, but if I wanted to watch a musical with adults playing high school teenagers, I'd rather watch Grease 1 and 2. Make that as you will. This subscriber special has only just begun though, so stay tuned for part 2 as we look at the movie that made me break a sign last time. I'll see you then.